Welcome to Cut Daisies and Unicorns, and this is a Trailer Friday. And I'm thinking that this Trailer Friday actually might be on a Friday. So I'm grateful for you making sure that you're here, you're watching, listening, and engaging with us. Because without you, it's just me and Steve in a room talking to each other, which is okay. It's good. But we also enjoy you engaging with us.
It's true. And you know what? That oops, that was totally on me.
There was a lot happening.
Actually, you'll hear a little bit about what was happening on Friday. Got waylaid at Home Depot trying to get a patio project up and rolling and stuff, and so all of a sudden this whole day just goes right by me, and I'm thinking, it's 9 o'clock at night and I totally missed. I think it was at 7:04 or 7:30 or something. I sent you a text and be like, "Yeah, that's not happening.
It's not gonna launch.
It's not happening."
Things happen, right?
Things do happen, and it just seems like, I think, wasn't it at the graduation party on Saturday? I'm like, how do we try to fit in everything that we're fitting in?
Right.
Yeah. When I was texting my mom Memorial Day, sent her some pictures of the project and stuff like that. She's like, "When do you rest?" I'm like, man, I think I have to go on vacation to get away from all the
projects.
It's full. I'm like, if I had to get a real job, I don't know, like it's just as full. But yeah, so we're doing our trailer.
We are.
This is for the episode, season 2, episode 7. It's a Phil and Steve edition. And wow, I'm really pleased with how this episode went, because we went out on a limb, kind of getting vulnerable about, hey, this is where we're at. We talk a little bit more about our personal faith structures in lieu of fringe items.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the fringe topics.
And that's where it came up with when we were talking with, Doc Fordyce there and saying, how do you deal with it? We're going to get to it later for us, but, asking that question to him, and that's where we dealt with it.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this trailer and you've never heard of Cut Daisies and Unicorns before, there's just a little part to share with you. We're shooting and recording 4 seasons a year of 10 episodes each. And if you do the math, that's 40 episodes plus trailers. So we have 80 in totality. That should work out that if we continue on this whole cycle of things, that by the second week in December, or third week in December, we will be finishing up our final. I went through the calendar, marked it out, and we were kind of talking through that, because we've got some travel dates coming up and trying to navigate how we're going to do that. So, and just to prepare the listener too, we may end up, based on schedule and activities, they could see us on the Zoom chat.
Right.
And we're just going to roll with the punches. If you're like, wow, this video is not pleasing to watch, just listen to it on a podcast.
There you go.
Plug it in your ears and start walking on the treadmill.
Yeah, that's why we have both options.
Yeah, full of options.
We're just trying to make it easier for you.
I don't like options when it comes to pie. Because, it just gets overwhelming. So I stick to...
all at once, you mean?
Yeah.
Because you're not saying you only like one kind of pie.
I'm
you're
not
just saying
that.
all at once.
Yeah.
Like, don't offer me apple, cherry,
blueberry,
blackberry.
Yeah. Mixed berry. All the berries.
Banana cream.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Lemon meringue. Ooh, I like lemon meringue.
My mom makes a coconut cream pie.
Yeah.
And one day I was asking her, because I like Almond Joys. And I'm like, hey, Mom, have you ever thought, like, your crust won't get soggy if you put a layer of chocolate on the bottom of the crust before you pour in the coconut cream? She did that.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. Yeah, she uses this chocolate chip icing recipe that she uses for what most people would know as a Black Forest cake.
Yeah.
And yeah, she mixes that up, puts it in the bottom, just a thin little layer. And when you get the chocolate with the coconut. Oh my word, dude! Wow. I've got like 80 million different ways to get fat.
Half and half with blueberries.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, pie and options. Lots of options if you want to listen to the podcast. Now, we can say too, and really the episode isn't we gave a history of religion and how religion decentralized a couple episodes or a couple Phil and Steve's.
Right.
Yeah. That's not this.
Right.
Yeah, and so if you want to get to know us personally, or a little bit more personally, we talk about vulnerability. We talk. I'm not. Spoiler alert. I'm not gonna spoil it, but Phil lays it down on the line on his what he believes about aliens in reality, and the realities of it. We go over just briefly again time travel,
right? It comes
in regards to current reality, past, and future.
Well, I think that we leave a lot of things to be able to still continue to ponder and think about.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's what we challenge ourselves in that way. So we're also then challenging you in that way.
Yeah. And as any good trailer should, we want this just to be something where you can check in, and actually it's our comfort structure for you, so that you can be able, and it'll make you laugh when you actually listen to the episode, right. Because we kind of dance around that a little bit. But one of the things that you can do is just trailers are meant to just cue you in and let you know what's coming up, so then you can decide if you wanna or don't wanna watch. Actually, people watch our trailers. It's the episodes that need legs.
Because maybe it's that like they look. I mean, their last one was 2 hours. So I mean that's a feature-length film right there. So.
But I'm not opposed. I sit down and watch feature-length films.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed. You just have to be able to say, do I have 2 hours right now? And if I do, this is what we're going to do.
See, but there's an amazing part of technology. If you go to YouTube and you start watching something, you can figure out where your time is when you left off. You can go back.
Sure.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not being user-friendly, but it's not that hard.
What I would, and I think if you even pause it, you close the window and then open it again. If you're still under your account, like they'll show you where you already stopped it. I mean,
you're saying it's less hard than people think?
I think it's less hard. It doesn't take a technological wizard to be able to figure out, hey, I can jump back into this video the same place that I just left it, even if it's the next day
or a week.
Yeah. It's still going to show it to you where you left off.
And that brings us to this reality.
Yeah, so the trailers allow you to see what's going to come in the full episode. But as you know, a lot of our trailers, we also just dig in.
We do.
Some things just come up, and we just follow that path too.
So I'm wondering if anybody right now is having anger management issues as they're listening. They're like, guys, I got on here to see the trailer, but you're making me angry because you're talking about a trailer. You're not really talking about what's going on or and stuff like that. And I ask that because we talked about some anger management stuff. Well, I mean, we didn't call it management. We just called
just
it
said there's anger.
Anger, yes. under the flow, anger mode.
Right.
And what are we going to do with that?
Where do you channel your anger?
You know
you
what?
just keep it internal?
I was actually thinking about taking
spew
a
it?
boxing class.
I think Heather's going to start kickboxing.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah. My problem is that my pointer finger on my left hand, I think I got a little bit of arthritis showing up because when I do projects and stuff like that, and why this is a problem is when you play guitar, I use that finger for my chording.
Oh.
And it doesn't bend very well. And it hurts. And so, like boxing stuff, like actually getting to box,
It could be worse.
Agitate it. Yeah. So, aches and pains.
We all have them, I guess. At some
I was
point in
thinking we
time.
are them. Don't you think?
Right.
I think
Are we your ache and pain?
aches and pains. Well, I think the people that we're a pain to, they're not listening to this.
My wife listens.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I probably have been a pain to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is, again, we were creatures of comfort, creatures of habit, and just being creatures that we are. I mean, we just, got to get under. People get under each other's skin.
Sure. And usually the people you're around more,
Right.
that you tend to find that happens.
Who's the burr under your saddle? So I got to season 4 of NCIS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've navigated. Gibbs retired, now he's back. But the little Mossad lady who was working for Israeli intelligence, she goes through and she gets lost in translations, all these English idioms and stuff. So when I said burr under your saddle, she would she's just slaughtering it all the time, and people are correcting her, and she gets frustrated and just like, shut up and let me just say, all these.
What makes sense to me.
Yes. Yeah. Like, instead of like being a fly on the wall, like, I'd like to be a fly on the, and it would just be, I should be a fly on the floor, or something. It's wall. It's wall.
Yeah. I don't think you want to be a fly on the floor.
No.
The wall is a definitely safer place for flies.
It's true.
And the ceiling probably even more. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little higher, a little bit easier or harder to swat at.
Yeah.
But I'm sure all of these idioms come from some place where there was a common truth.
Slower than molasses. Yeah.
I wonder where that comes from.
I don't know. Hey, we could give people something to think about.
Yeah.
Like going forward. It's not in the next episode, but you had mentioned on History Channel that you watched Burning Tulsa.
Burning Tulsa, yeah.
And you found it fascinating, very informative.
Right.
We've talked about that if you have HBO, you can watch the Watchmen series, and that is a fictitious play on the event that happened in Tulsa. Then also Chicago just passed recognition of Juneteenth, June 19th, which is, do you want to tell everybody the history of that?
I'd have to look up because I don't want to get it wrong.
Well, so this is my understanding from a recent NPR episode that June 19th was when Texas signed its liberation of any slaves.
Hmm.
Or, see, and then here I probably got it wrong. And so there is a big question right now in culture whether Juneteenth should become a national holiday. And so different states, different cities are putting their own proclamations together in regards to civil rights and how that all fits.
Yeah, so you weren't too far off. So
I did.
Juneteenth originated in Galveston, Texas.
Yep.
And is now celebrated annually on June 19th throughout the United States, known as Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, Liberation Day, Emancipation Day. So
What year?
you'd think that would be right at the top of this thing, wouldn't you? Celebrations date to 1866?
1865.
65, okay.
It is commemorated on the anniversary date of the June 19, 1865 announcement of General Order Number 3 by Union Army General Gordon Granger proclaiming freedom from slavery in Texas.
Yeah. So I know that it is a big holiday for people, whether it's national yet. I mean, there's some people even calling for a worldwide celebration of Juneteenth. But yeah, so it is good. It's good to recognize, because Juneteenth only popped up on my radar a few years ago.
Yeah.
Before that, I may have heard of it, but it didn't necessarily stick in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, what you find with Juneteenth is that there is a large celebration amongst people who were, recognized that there was slavery and that there was even continuing past the, past when the United States said that there should be no more slavery, that slavery still continued to exist, and I think it's still a celebration of freedom, liberation.
Yeah. Yep. And the other part that we pull up is that the Emancipation Proclamation happened about 2.5 years earlier, but because of the Civil War, there was a slow rollout on how that all affected before the 13th Amendment to the Constitution abolished chattel slavery nationwide.
Right.
So, yeah, Juneteenth. We're working on a guest to come and talk with us in regards to that. And so, and I think just a general, every day is a celebration of humanity from the Cut Daisies and Unicorns office.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day. Yep. Every day I got the blues. That's a B.B. King. Yeah. Yeah. So what else you got, Phil?
Yeah. So I mean, those are all good things that I think we're trying to work on for the near future. We're still. I mean, we brought up some cults too. Right at the end of the episode, we also talked about like the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Also part of secret organizations and societies. So.
Yep.
It is something that I'm assuming is going to make a comeback and a thread in future episodes. So continue to look towards that as also, being part of what we're going to talk about.
Planes, trains, and automobiles. There's travel in my future, and so I've got time while traveling to be able to take in more information. So these are good breaks because I'll be able to be able to read up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Get my Knights Templar book finished off and then move on to, Freemasonry and the Illuminati and the New World Order.
Right.
Yeah.
All good stuff that looking forward to future conversations about that.
Uh-huh. It's going to be good.
It is. Oh boy. Yeah, so what are you looking forward to out there? What are the things that what's on your radar that you think that should be on our radar? That might be even a good question to pose for these people out here listening, watching. Is what are some of the things that we should be putting out there?
All right.
So
We can always take some input.
sure.
Yeah.
Love feedback.
Yeah.
Input and feedback. So what do you got out there? What do you have, person listening?
We get into this. People might be wondering if we're going to do a live event.
Yeah.
And so as we have 3 more episodes, we're going to take a couple weeks off. And because of how it lands, we're not going to be able to do a live event launch for which last time we had kind of talked about maybe doing that.
Right.
But we are going to put a live event together and
Yeah.
get that.
And it will be shortly after season 3, episode 1.
Yeah.
That will also have a live event, but
Yeah.
so it won't kick off season 3, but it'll be shortly following.
Yep. And so we'll probably, just give you a heads up on, hey, this is what season 3 looks like and stuff like that. And then we'll go to the live. And that was a blast.
It was.
Yeah. When we did live face. Yeah. And so having some peeps on and talking and taking questions live and interacting and yeah.
Yeah, the other aspect we can incorporate into the live event is that you can invite somebody onto the camera. So I don't know if you saw that feature on, because we did Facebook Live. So anybody who's listening, we could bring up somebody into the...
Really?
Yeah, so if we have that connected to the computer,
Yeah.
we bring them up live, we'll be able to, show that. So.
Oh, wow. And have them interact
Mm-hmm.
with the whole group. Oh, that'll be fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're watching and you want to be, you want to, show your face too, then
Yeah.
raise your hand and we'll bring you on. You can ask a question or give some feedback.
Yeah.
Comments,
With our
whatever.
technology too, that dials you right in. And just like we do a Zoom, and when we do an interview, we'll be able to have you in the
Right.
pop-up picture-in-picture and just like this. Watch.
Yeah, there you would be.
Boop. 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 Boop.
Mm-hmm.
Boop. Just like that. Technology.
Technology is fun.
Yep. Yeah, and we know about what it takes, and the good news is we don't have to set up the stage to be able to do that, and we've got internet access, and
Right.
when you ask, hey, what are you guys doing when you take time off? Well, we're at a place right now where we need to upgrade our studio again. I mean, by grade, part of that is finishing what we did start. We need to mount our display monitor up, and we're going to run hardwire for the internet stuff so that our Zoom calls don't get dropped. And then our little dangly thing, we had a hook that fell out of the wall, and so thankfully the other hooks haven't fallen out of the wall. That's a good thing, and so kind of. Yeah.
The tension's holding elsewhere. It just, some reason, that middle hook just didn't like the tension
Right.
and just decided to give up on us.
It's amazing.
Right.
And let's see, as far as anything else to let you know that is upcoming, we don't have anything.
That's it.
We make this shit up.
Shit all the time. No. Yeah, and that's the reason why, if you've got feedback from your perspective of things, elements you want us to be able to spend, hey, we don't mind, and especially if you know a subject matter expert.
Oh man. And to let you know too, we're watching the calendar, mental health awareness, May.
It's May.
Yeah. Juneteenth. We're watching the calendar, taking a look culturally relevant topics. to hopefully put the Cut Daisies twist on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And it is Pride Month, if you're also aware.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
In June?
In June. All of June is Pride Month. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was wearing my Vinyl Cup Records Pride T-shirt yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah. And I talked him into a free T-shirt when I bought, I don't know, like 8 tickets to Hinterland 2 years ago. And the owner was like, "Yeah, I'll give you a T-shirt.
Yeah,
What size? What size do you want?"
Chunk of change.
Well, the thing was they were giving a discount.
Yeah.
And they had a pop-up downtown in the East Village. And so I read it that on all of the tickets, they'd give you 15% off. Well, so then Jolynn Utzi and her family wanted tickets, and I had tickets. And so, yeah, I bought a block of like 8 of them. He's like, "Holy cow, I thought you were going to buy 2. And I'm like, "Well, if somebody else comes up and buys 2, he's like, "Well, yeah, let me see what I can do." So he gave me a discount.
Nice.
It was awesome. And it was like a discount, and then you got like certain credits towards like buying records. So I think I got like, for every ticket, then you got like $15 to go towards buying records. And so I got this credit, but I didn't realize the credit expired in 30 days, but I went in and bought a bunch of albums. And then I was like, "Well, I had my credit." And he's like, "Oh, this is something we do." And so he gave it to me. He was very honorable gentleman.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. And so
Then you can continue to encourage and support the arts.
absolutely.
All right. Well, is this the trailer? Is this the, are we coming to a close?
Well, yeah. Everybody's like, "What just happened here?" Well, what happened here is we taped on Thursday. I didn't make trailer Friday.
Right.
And then Sunday we released. Monday was Memorial Day.
That's when I put out the audio.
Yeah. And now we're back in the studio on Tuesday because we're both going to be gone on Thursday.
Right.
And we're just rolling the dice here.
Right.
I mean, so when
Rolling with the punches, rolling with the times.
Yep. Graduations, Memorial Days, projects, all of that stuff going on. And we're like, we got to figure this out.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have dates still. It just may not be our regular time.
Right.
But you'll still see it. It's almost like it's going to be regular for you. The watcher, the listener, you're going to say, "Oh, I didn't even know they were gone then."
Right.
That's the hope.
Yeah. Right. Like, my dog's going to know we're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Rover.com, not a sponsor. Yeah, Jill's coming to take care of Gypsy.
Nice.
So, yep. And then the next weekend, Donna and Steven. Running into a lot of Stevens in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I mean, it is Pride Month. And so, I mean, like, they're just, and I have people ask me, "Well, are you Steve or Steven?" I said, "Actually, I'm Donald."
There. Gotcha.
They're like, "Donald?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Thank you, 9/11. I used to be able to be D. Stephen Coble II. I used to.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No?
Nope. Donald S. Just because people having to know what your real identity is. So they changed mine. This sounds like a really bad episode of Back to the Future. I'm like, when I was born, they gave me this official name.
Right.
But then to make things less confusing in the household and to neighbors and friends, then they called me by my middle name, which was after my grandfather who had recently passed. Now I'm back to people like, "Hey, Don." I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" They're like, "Do you prefer a different name?" I'm like, "You know what? At this point, I'll answer to them all."
Yeah, which is funny because my middle name is Donald.
It's hilarious. I know. How did that work out?
It just happens.
So we're the Dons.
Right.
Yeah. Which is a little mafia reference, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The Dons.
Yep. And if you're needing some other kind of distraction, just know that Coded did come back on demand. So you might want to search around and find out about the Statue of Liberty or, just all these different things on Coded.
Right.
And
We
then,
highlighted a couple of them.
and then the Bohemian Group, you can do a deep dive into Wikipedia about that and figure that out.
Right.
For the minds that want to know.
Mm-hmm. Inquisitive minds.
Certainly. But I think that's really going to cover it.
It does. Yeah, hope you enjoy the episode coming up, and hopefully it makes you think, muse a little bit.
Very good. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. And we will look forward to being joined back with you by not being with you, but by being here with us, and then we'll be with you.
Yes. Be well.
See you later.